You have the right to learn in a safe and supportive environment that considers the role that race, gender, and socioeconomic status play in the educational experience. We want to create spaces for learning that are free from harassment and ensure equitable access to everything the California Community College system provides for our students. The mission and vision of the California Community Colleges is simple: putting students first. With that, it is important that our students receive crucial information on how to prevent and report harassment, particularly sexual harassment and sexual violence on our campuses. This video is the first of several the Chancellor's Office will be releasing to help inform and educate our students about these issues and the steps we can all take to make our campuses free from harassment. The content discussed in this video includes sexual violence, sexual abuse, sex and gender-based harassment, and sex discrimination. These topics are serious, sensitive, and can evoke strong emotional responses. Please view with care and self-compassion. Awareness of the prevalence of campus sexual harassment is vital. Surveys indicate underreporting, with over 11,580 sexual offenses reported in 2021. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted in college. Assault rates are highest among undergraduate females and transgender, genderqueer, and gender nonconforming students, especially during the red zone. The red zone is the period of the school year when there are more social gatherings, typically in the months of August through November. During this time, students, especially first-year students, are at a higher risk of sexual assault. Types of harassment can include visual harassment, being forced to look at photos, videos, or drawings of a sexual nature, including showing nudes without consent. Verbal harassment, unwanted comments about bodies, unwanted sexual jokes or conversations, or unwanted advances, such as asking you out repeatedly. Physical harassment, unwanted touching of private body parts, such as genitals, breasts, and buttocks, or unwanted kissing. Rape and sexual assault, forced penetration and groping of private body parts for sexual purposes. And cyber harassment, using digital mediums to send sexually aggressive or harassing images or texts, sending unwanted requests for nude photos or videos, or performing sexual acts on a webcam without consent. Sexual violence rarely occurs between acquaintances. This is a myth. The fact is that 80 to 90% of sexual violence involves known persons. It is a myth that intoxicated individuals can give consent. The fact is, consent cannot be given when a person is incapacitated for any reason, including the consumption of alcohol or drugs. It is a myth that men are not survivors of sexual violence. The facts are that 2.78 million cisgender men in the United States have been survivors of attempted or completed rape, and 1 out of every 10 rape survivors identifies as male. It is a myth that domestic violence is mainly a heterosexual issue. The fact is that domestic violence occurs in LGBTQ relationships at similar or higher rates than the heterosexual population. Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 prohibits sex-based discrimination, including harassment and violence in educational programs and activities receiving federal funding. Title IX protects all participants in educational programs and activities, including students and employees. Title IX requires that all educational organizations that receive federal funding have processes for responding to reports of sexual harassment and violence that fall under their jurisdiction. Students can file internal administrative complaints with the institution and criminal charges with local law enforcement. If you experience harassment or violence, contact your school's Title IX coordinator or the campus advocate, who can provide you with information, help you file a complaint, or connect you with supports. Numerous campus and community resources are available for survivors. Campuses also have multiple options for confidential mental health support and counseling services available to students. These include trauma-informed services and partnerships with community organizations and rape crisis centers. Contact information for these resources can be obtained from your Title IX coordinator. Encouraging peer support for survivors is crucial. Research shows that bystanders, known as witnesses, defenders, or upstanders, are key to prevention. As a bystander, you can direct, step in, and interrupt a harmful situation by pointing out the problem and engaging in conversation. You can distract, interrupt a risky situation by distracting those involved if you aren't comfortable calling out the behavior. And you can delegate. Involve others if you can't intervene alone, or report to campus staff as soon as possible. Offenders may face criminal prosecution, civil penalties, and college sanctions, including suspension or expulsion. Acts of sexual violence and harassment have serious campus, criminal, and civil consequences. Supportive measures during investigations may include suspensions, housing adjustments, or schedule changes to ensure safety. There are many steps that students, the community, and your school can take to prevent sexual violence, such as using campus climate survey data, having confidential, trauma-informed services, developing standard training methods in violence prevention, and taking a community approach to talking about prevention and ensuring it pushes out messaging to everyone on campus. Students experience sexual harassment and assault at different rates based on race, sexual orientation, disability, gender, and gender identity. For instance, transgender people of color and women with disabilities are more likely to experience sexual assault than their peers. An intersectional approach helps in understanding the varied experiences of different student groups. Analyzing college sexual assault with an intersectional framework helps us to understand experiences given multiple identity characteristics. Stopping these types of violence before they happen requires us to work together to support healthy, safe, and respectful behaviors and environments. Preventing violence in our community is everyone's responsibility, and supporting those who have suffered from violence is equally important. For more information about your community college's Title IX coordinator, scan the QR code on the screen.